Hi guys, I'm back with another video. Today I decided to do a video about all of the series that I have completed. These do not include books that I've caught up to, where there are more books coming out in the near future, but only completed series where I know there's not going to be any more books. At least what I know of. I'll be really surprised if something was to change in that area. I don't know how long this is gonna be, but I have completed quite a few series, so I'll try and make it quick. And yeah. The first two series that I'm gonna mention today are by the same author, and they're called Darkest Powers and Darkness Rising. They're both by Kelley Armstrong. And I gave Darkest Powers 4.5 stars. And I gave Darkness Rising 5 stars. I really enjoyed these two trilogies. They were connected, so they were spin-off. Darkness Rising was a spin-off of the other, and I really enjoyed the pace of the stories. I really enjoyed the whole plot, and yeah, it was just right up my alley, and I read these books super fast, and they are really fast-paced books. And then I have completed both of the completed series by Cassandra Clare, and the first one was the Mortal Instruments series, which I don't own any physical copies of because for some reason I've read them all more or less from the library. And I gave that. I really enjoyed this series. In the beginning, I think the first 3 books, I did read them back when I read Twilight and stuff, but definitely the third one was really amazing, I remember. And I thought it read up really well. And then it's continued. I know it was supposed to be a trilogy, and I feel like I could feel that with the third book, how it ended. And I feel like it lacked something in those last 3 books that it didn't have in the first 3. But I also really liked the 4th and 5th book, but I just was super bored with the third one. And then I ended up giving this an overall rating of 4 stars. And then I also read Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare, and for some reason I think I was out of my Cassandra Clare phase when I started reading these, because it was after the third book in that. This one came out after the third book in the Mortal Instruments series, I believe. And yeah, I wasn't all about those characters at the time, and then I continued it last year, and I was not in a Cassandra Clare mood at all. And I ended up giving the first and second book in this series 4 stars, and the last one 3 stars. I don't know why. I was really bored when I read Clockwork Princess, and I seem to be the only one in the entire universe who think this, because yeah, I am not all about love triangles, and I don't think it was done well. I feel like she didn't even make a decision about it, so not super happy with it. But yeah, so this is a 3.75 stars out of 5 stars. Serious read for me. And then I also completed, the next one I completed is also a trilogy, and that is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. And I read The Hunger Games, the first book, after the first movie was out, so I was not really surprised about any of the things that really happened. So I think that took a lot of the wow factor out of it, but I did enjoy it, and I gave it a 4 stars. But the other 2 books were 5-star reads for me, because they were something new, and I really loved those, and I'm Team Peter. Anyway, I love this series. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Then I've also completed a duology, but this is set in a world of another series that I have not completed yet, but the duology is finished, and that is The Night Huntress World by Jeanine Frost. This consists of 2 books, obviously, because it's a duology, and I really enjoyed it. I gave the first one 5 stars and the second one 4 stars, I believe, and then I gave it an overall rating of 4.5 stars. The next series that I finished was another trilogy, and that is Hexhall by Rachel Hawkins. I really enjoyed this trilogy. It was a really fast-paced trilogy, and it's sort of my guilty pleasure reads. And I gave the first and third books 4 stars, and I think I gave the second one 5 stars. For once, the second book was my favorite, and yeah, it gives a average rating of 4.25 stars out of 5 stars. Then I've also completed The Chronicles of Narnia, which is one of my favorite classics, because I haven't read a lot of classics, but this particular classic story I really enjoy. And I especially love The Horse and His Boy, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, of course, and then also The Silver Chair. And yeah, I think my overall rating was a 4 to 4.5 out of 5 stars, because there were, I think, Prince Caspian and The Magician's Nephew I didn't really enjoy a lot. I gave those 3 stars, but the other books were 4 or 5 stars. So I really enjoyed the overall series. The next 4 series I've finished. I don't know why I said 3 series, but 4 series I've finished are by the same author. And if you've followed me for a while, you probably know who it's gonna be. And it is, of course, all by Richelle Mead, and it is The Vampire Academy. I don't have the physical copy of Vampire Academy. I want them all in this edition because I really love this, but it's a special edition, and I need the 1st, 2nd, and 5th book to complete this series. So I don't know if I'll have to get the other copies. I have all of those other 3 books on my Kindle. So the other one is the Bloodlines series. I love this one as much as I love the Vampire Academy. And then I've also completed Georgina Kincaid series, and this is also really enjoyable read. I gave it this, over the ratings that I did, it was 4.5 out of 5 stars, but ultimately I want to give it a 5 stars because I know those first books that I gave a 4 stars would be completely different now if I read them. I'm almost sure of that. And the last series that I finished by her was the Dark Swan series, and this is the first book in that series. And it's a 4-book series. I liked the first 3, they were really amazing, and then the last one ended super weird, and I ended up giving this series a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The next series I finished is a really popular series, and it's one of the first series I ever finished, and that is the Twilight series by Stephenie Meyer. I found it hard to rate this because I loved this when I read this. It was and it is still a groundbreaking series that made me love paranormal series, like paranormal YA books, and it got me into this genre of the urban fantasy genre that I really love. And so I don't like giving this a super low rating, but I don't want to give it a super high rating either, because there's a lot of flaws with this one as well. But I think I'll give it a 4 stars, I don't know. The next 2 series I've finished are also by the same author, and those are the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series and The Heroes of Olympus by Rick Riordan. I love these 2 series. They are super hilarious to follow, and I can't wait to dig into The Hidden Oracle now. I'm planning on doing that, I think, next month maybe. And I also can't wait for The Hammer of Thor, which are due to come out this year as well. And then I'm gonna dig into the Kane Chronicles. I love that I have so many different books still from Rick Riordan, because he's like one of my favorite authors now. And yeah, gave those 2 series 4 stars. Probably could have given them more, but yeah, they were overall really enjoyable. And I think my favorite series is probably The Hero of Olympus, mostly because I like multiple perspectives, and I really loved Leo. I just forgot his name for a while there. I really love Leo. He's like my favorite character of those 2 series. So yeah, and he's not part of the Percy Jackson series, so I can't really, yeah. But I ultimately love those 2 series. Then I've also completed a trilogy by Nora Roberts, but this is the only trilogy I've completed so far, and it is the Born-In trilogy. I enjoyed this series. I gave them all 4 stars, and I think the second one is my favorite because the main character, and that was probably my favorite character to follow. And yeah, ultimately it's a 4-star series read for me. Then I also completed Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling, of course, because this was the first series I ever read, and also my favorite, and it's obviously a 5-star series read. Apart from those series, I have also read another duology, and that is by Elizabeth Norton, and it's called Against All Odds, and it's I really enjoyed the first one, which is was sort of focusing on some amnesia problems and memory losses and stuff, and I wasn't so happy with the second one, so it was, but I still gave it a 4 stars, but it was a 4.5 out of 5 stars for me. And then I also completed the duology of Dawn Tillman, where the first one's called Rosie Project and the next one is called The Rosie Effect. I was not super happy with the Rosie Project, but I felt like it's a duology. I could easily read the next one and maybe it would be better. But the thing was that the second book was worse than the Rosie Project, so I ended up giving this series a 2.5 out of 5 stars, or this duology. Then I've also completed the Grisha trilogy. I finished this in May, I believe, and I loved the first book, Shadow and Bone. This is my favorite in the trilogy, and mostly because I really loved the Darkling, and he was in this one the most, I believe. And yeah, I gave the second installment, I think there was too long of a wait between this one and when I read the second book. So maybe I'd have forgotten some of things, I don't know, I wasn't, yeah, but I gave that one a 3.5 out of 5 stars, the second installment, and the third book I gave a 4.5 out of 5 stars, or maybe it was a 4 stars. I think it was 4 stars. So I ultimately give this trilogy a 4 stars. Then I've also recently completed the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb, and I gave that one a 4 stars, I believe. I gave the first and second installment 4 stars and the last one a 3 stars, but I want to give the whole series a 4 stars because of the things that happens in this trilogy. And it has one of my favorite fictional characters, so I can't wait to discover more from these characters in the future. Lastly, I've also finished another duology, and that is by Giovanna Fletcher, and that's the duology of Billy and Me. I believe it's only going to be a duology. I'm not sure about this one. I didn't know there's going to be a sequel, but I just recently read the sequel, so maybe there's going to be more. I hope there's not, because I feel like this is a good way to stop it, basically. And I gave the first one of Billy and Me, I gave 5 stars, and Always with Love I gave 4 stars, so a 4.5 out of 5 stars for this duology. And so yes, these were all the series that I have completed. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of the series that I have read, if you have any. I'm sorry if I've offended you with any of the series that I haven't rated so high. I hope I haven't, and I hope you understand that everyone has their own opinions about things. I can't wait to cross off some more of my series on my list, because I'm not super good at completing series. It is a priority that I'm trying to work a little more on, and yeah. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video, hopefully very, very soon. Goodbye!